Family, have you ever felt like you weren't good enough for what God called you to do? And you thought, why me? I'm too weak. I'm too small. I'm too broken. Well, today we're diving into another powerful story from the Bible. This story is about a man named Gideon who thought the exact same thing about himself. Until God showed up and showed him what faith can do when you trust in his word over fear. Gideon's story, it starts in the book of Judges 6. Israel was under attack by the Midianites, a powerful enemy that destroyed their crop, stole their animals, and left them living in fear. And where do we find Gideon? Hiding in a wine press, threshing wheat in secret, and trying not to be seen. He wasn't brave. He wasn't a warrior. He was just trying to survive. But right there, in the middle of fear, an angel of the Lord appeared and said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Imagine that. Gideon was hiding and afraid, but the Lord called him a mighty warrior. And that is because God doesn't see you where you are. He sees you where you're going. God sees the version of you that has already won the battle. But Gideon didn't believe that at first. Gideon said, "If the Lord is with us, then why has all this happened to us?" Gideon doubted, just like we all do when life gets hard. Go on the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Notice something. God didn't say wait until you feel ready. And that's because God can multiply what little strength you offer him. Still, Gideon waited for a sign. He asked God to give him confirmation first, not once, but multiple times. And each time, God met him in his uncertainty. And that shows us that God is patient with our process. And that's because God knows that sometimes faith takes a step of proof first before we run in full trust. Patience is our process. Eventually, Gideon gathered an army, 32,000 strong men. But then God said, that's too many. He reduced the army down to 10,000 men. And then again, down to 300 men. Why? Because God wanted everyone to know that the victory was not by human strength. It was by his power. Family, sometimes God will strip your resources, your support, and your comfort zone. It's not to punish you, but it's to prove to you that he is enough. Can you imagine standing against an army of 300 men? Yet God is saying, go, I'll give them into your hand. Now that's faith. That's walking when it doesn't make sense. So in the middle of the night, Gideon and his 300 men surrounded the enemy's camp. They didn't have swords or spears. They had trumpets, torches, and jars. When Gideon gave the signal, they blew the trumpet, broke the jars. They shouted, "A sword for the Lord!" And Gideon, the enemies, panicked, and confusion broke out in the camp, and they turned on each other. And guess what? The Israelites won the battle without even swinging a sword. When God fights for you, your victory won't look logical. It will look miraculous. What did Gideon teach us? God calls the unequipped. He meets us in our fear. He uses our smallness to show his greatness. And if this message encouraged you, like, subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video.